Thank you for joining me on this test drive video for the all-new Honda E. This is our 100% electric vehicle. So that forms a really important part of our 2022 pledge that all of our mainstream vehicles will be electrified. So I think it's really important to get inside. Right, now we're inside, you really get a sense of this living room feel. Added to that though, you get so many screens in here. It is absolutely unbelievable. Now I don't know about you, but I can't wait to drive this. One of the first things that you'll notice when you get into the new Honda E is the fact that the transmission looks a little bit different. So what we've got are a series of buttons, all the usual buttons if you had a traditional automatic that you'd actually see. So we've got P for park, reverse, we've got neutral, and we've got drive. We're in drive at the moment, and it could not be any simpler. You just pop it into D with your foot on the foot brake, and then you are good to go. When it comes to manoeuvring, you slide the R button back for reverse so you can't accidentally catch it, and it is literally as simple as that. The acceleration in the new Honda E is phenomenal. So the electric motor has 315 Newton meters of torque, which is actually being delivered to the road via the rear wheels. We have two models of Honda E. We have 136 PS, and in the advanced model, which this is, we have 154 PS, which gives absolutely fantastic acceleration. Now, we've come around the curve, we're just backing off a little bit on the accelerator, and when I come off there, of course the road wheels are turning. This is then turning the electric motor, and it's regenerating our battery in the back of the car. So this is actually recouping some of that lost energy. In any other car, it'd just be completely wasted. But in the Honda E, we're saving it and putting electricity back into our own battery. We use flat floor battery technology in this car. So the battery is low down, which gives us a nice low centre of gravity, and it will maximise cabin space for us as well. And in this urban commuter, it's absolutely perfect. It's going to give us a range of up to 137 miles. And what you'll find with your life with an electric vehicle, if you've not owned one before, it's very much like owning a mobile phone. If you're not using it and you have the possibility to do so, plug it in, charge it up, and you're good to go for the next time. We also have a 50-50 weight distribution, so the handling in this car is incredible. Also, we have four-wheel, fully independent suspension. So when it comes to those curves and tight turns, it is incredible. You will love this when you get to take your first drive. Not only will this car regenerate and provide electricity that would otherwise be wasted in a traditional car when we come off the throttle, when we start braking, if we're light braking, that will also give like a supercharge to the batteries. Again, just extending that range or using less energy on that journey, whichever way you like to look at it. Now I've been driving for a little while, I think I'm going to select sport mode, and down by my left hand, I just push the little sort of rocker forwards, and this is now going to sharpen my throttle response. So the pickup is even greater now on this car. You get a little confirmation bleep on the dash just to let you know it's actually taken place as well. And then I can see above my D for drive, I've got the sport logo there as well, just to reinforce. One of my favourite features on the Honda E, it actually has the centre camera mirror system and the side camera mirror system. So rather than using a traditional glass mirror, which can get dirty, rain spots, those kind of things, we have three monitors inside the car. See, one just in my eye line to the right, one to the left for what would be the door mirrors, and then my centre camera mirror system is mounted exactly where you'd expect a rear view mirror to be, but both of them have screens on there, literally projecting a true image of what's on the outside. So on a nice bright daylight today, they give really good clear indication of what's behind me. But their real massive advantage, other than aerodynamics and a clean and clear screen, is nighttime and bad weather, because they are never going to get covered with moisture because it's on the inside. And the lenses to the cameras on the outside have a special coating to help repel moisture and dirt. They are absolutely incredible. Also, the camera that we use for the centre camera mirror system is actually in the swept area of the rear screen. So again, if ever you see any water spots on what looks like the camera, it's just the rear screen, rear wiper on, and it clears it off for you. On my display, it's very clear and easy to understand what's going on. So right at the top I have my speed, we're just doing just a shade under 50 miles an hour now. And on my right hand side, I have a very simple bar. So as I'm coming down a hill now, it's charging the battery. If I accelerate a little bit, it goes into power. So I can really control my throttle position on basically how economically I want to drive, how much range I want to get out of the car. So I can drive nice and eco-friendly and extend my range, or if I'm having fun in this urban commuter, then I can certainly do that, and you'll see the power actually just increase a little bit and you see more blue there, but you're completely informed. So if you wanted even more information, in the centre screen, we've actually got our range. If we had air conditioning on, that would of course consume some power, some energy, so it would reduce it. But I'm constantly informed of how much I could gain by turning it off. Just below the D button that we mentioned earlier for drive, we have another button. This has a picture of a foot on it that looks like it's on an accelerator with an up and down arrow. If I press this, I've actually engaged single pedal control. Now, for many of you, you probably won't have experienced anything like this before. So traditionally, when you come off the accelerator, you slow down because the car is no longer pushing you forwards. But now with single pedal control, when I take my foot off, the car will actually apply some braking. So we could actually come to a complete stop using single pedal control, and we can go up to our maximum speed. So literally, we have the ability to control our speed purely with the accelerator. Of course, if you need to or want to use the brake, it's still there. So you can do an emergency stop, but you can really control and modulate how much pressure you're putting on that right foot on the accelerator to control your speed. And we can use these paddles here to adjust how much regenerative braking and how much we want the car to slow us down when we actually come off the throttle. A really great feature, and literally at the press of a button you can select it or deselect it. Like many of the other Hondas that we have now, we have eCall, emergency call. So there are two ways that this can actually call the emergency services for us. If we release the safety cover, press the button, it will do that for us. If I was in an accident and the airbags were deployed, it would do it on my behalf. So it's just like having that guardian angel just sitting over your shoulder, looking after you. We hope we're never going to need to use it, but it's that peace of mind of knowing it's there for us. Like many of the Hondas now, we have a full sensing package on this car. So we have things like collision mitigation braking system, whereby the car on our behalf can use its radar and camera system to recognise if there's a car in front of us, and if it deems that it needs to use the brakes to mitigate the collision, it will apply them on my behalf. It can recognise pedestrians, so we have pedestrian detection, whereby if it sees the silhouette of a person walking in front of us, again, it can actually apply emergency braking for us. A brilliant feature. We have lane keeping assist system. So I can select this one, it's not automatically on, it's a driver preference. So when I'm driving on a motorway or a dual carriageway, I don't really realise how many tiny inputs I'm putting into the steering. You only really realise it when you've used lane keeping assist system, and that is doing those tiny corrections for you, and then you turn it off. You realise the work that you were doing to stay in a straight line. Well, with Honda Sensing and Lane Keeping Assist system, you don't need to, because at the push of a button, it looks at the white lines and it will keep you centred in the lane. Likewise, things like lane departure warning, road departure mitigation, they will also look at the painted white lines on the road, and if we're drifting a little bit too close to either side of the carriageway, it can give me an early warning, it can even vibrate the steering wheel so that I can help correct my error and get back into the lane that I should be in. Road departure mitigation actually looks for the solid white lines, because the solid white line means you mustn't cross it. Now that may be because it's the edge of a road, it could be there's oncoming traffic, basically there's danger, that's why it's a solid white line. So the car can actually back off the throttle for me, and it can apply braking to individual wheels to help mitigate me leaving the road. Another great feature. We have intelligent adaptive cruise control. With our radar and camera system, what it now recognises is again that vehicle in front, and we can preset the speed we want to go, in this case 60, and if there is a car in front doing 50, it'll slow us down to 50, and I can preset the distance of the gap between me and the vehicle in front. Well, also, because we have an automatic style of transmission, it can bring us down to 0, because we have a feature called low speed follow. So right the way from 70 miles an hour on a motorway down to 0, and then it can actually restart us back up again once we've told the car it's okay to do so. A tremendous feature. Again, it just helps driving be more enjoyable, it helps us get more out of the car and be fresher when we get to our destination. We have blind spot information as well. So traditionally on Hondas that would be a little light that wouldn't be in the door mirror. Of course we've got our side camera mirror system, so now we get the indication in that area on either the left or the right hand side of the car to tell us if there was something in our blind spot and alert us. We have traffic sign recognition, so we've just passed a 70 mile an hour speed sign, and it's on my dash telling me that the last speed sign we passed is 70 miles an hour. Now this is really clever because this is now incorporated into our speed limiter. So you have a regular speed limiter that you can manually set to 30, 40, 56, whatever you want. But actually if we have the intelligent speed limiter on, it will actually take the information from the road signs and actually limit our accelerating speed up to the speed sign. The Connect system that we have in the Honda E really is the next generation. So not only do we have things like the inbuilt navigation, we have a smartphone connection displayed on there as well. So that could be Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, which is now wireless. A great feature for somebody like me who loves their iPhone. But we have some new features on there, like the EV menu, which can give us information about the current state of charge and range in the battery on a large screen. But we also have the Honda Personal Assistant. Now, this is like having your Google Assistant or Siri on your iPhone that can help you via voice commands. Except that this one, you don't need a smartphone in the car for it, and actually you can do it while driving, and you could ask it to find you a location. But you could actually put different layers of information. So rather than asking just for an Italian restaurant, you could ask for an Italian restaurant that has free parking and is suitable for vegetarians. It would find one for you, or a selection. Then you can select which one you want and it would put it into the factory navigation. Tremendous. Honda's Parking Pilot is a completely new feature for us that we have on the advanced grade of the Honda E. So I'm just going to press the button on the dashboard, and we're going to, as it asks us to, drive slowly forwards, and all the cameras around the car are actually looking for an appropriate spot for me to reverse into. So once I've passed by, it gives me on the screen the choice of parking spaces. Do I want to back in or parallel park? In this instance, I want to parallel park, so we just tap that. Now, to start the parking operation, apply the brakes and press the switch. So we press the switch again, and literally I just take my foot off everything. My hands off the steering wheel, and it will do it all for me. So it will feel quite unusual for the first time while the car is doing everything for you, selecting whether it wants to go forwards or backwards in this instance, what lock it wants to put on, the application of the brake, and when it parks us in, it may even send us a little bit further forwards as well. So just going through the process, I can see on the screen how it's looking. So I've got like a bird's eye view. So it's now going to pull me into the left and front, and there we go. We're just going to go a little bit further back. I imagine the lock's going to turn around. It's quite a tight little space that we've got here. So there we go, getting towards parallel, and fantastic. Straightening off, and there we go, and it's going to move forwards towards the red line. Beautiful. We'll get a little tone in a moment. Parking's complete. So I can now put parking brakes on, I can literally power the car off, and it's parked the car for me. Well, those are my thoughts on the first drive of the new Honda E. But more importantly, we want you to formalise your own opinion and test drive this fantastic car for yourself. So please contact your local dealer.